The father of a young boy found dead in a vicious attack outside his own apartment.
Feels like a crime of passion. It feels personal.
It's a murder mystery with few clues and a tight-knit family honoring his life. A good cause and a bad actor.
Sales like this help fund and stock our pet food bank.
A thief hits a nonprofit thrift shop with his eyes set on the most expensive item. A drone swooping into the line of duty. See how the aerial tech gave officers an edge during a 7-Eleven standoff. Tonight in the Spotlight.
The Spotlight brought to you by Beacon Plumbing.
A 41-year-old father returning home with his groceries is violently attacked. What makes this case unusual is the lack of clues. And that's where you come in. Good evening and thanks for joining us for the Spotlight. I'm David Rose. And we begin tonight with a plea from the case detective and the victim's family for your help to solve his murder.
The grieving process is just beginning in my mind.
Jesse Candel's family is getting ready for their first Christmas without him. They put up his own special tree to honor his life. But preparing emotionally is much harder.
It's not only Jesse, it's not only a brother that you miss, but it's, a nephew, a grandson, that is missing. So it's like a double loss.
On June 4th, King County Sheriff's deputies got a call around 11:35 p.m. about a person with a gunshot wound at Wilderness Village in Maple Valley.
When we got there, we realized that he was attacked, brutally attacked, just outside of his own apartment.
Detective Laura Peckham with the Major Crimes Unit says Jesse's groceries were strewn about on the ground, and there was no evidence of a robbery.
Feels like a crime of passion. It feels personal.
She says a witness heard the shot, looked out the window, and saw Jesse get pushed into the bushes.
Do you have any kind of description you can share with us?
It's a loose description, but we did get a black male, and that's all we have.
They talked to neighbors and looked everywhere for video, but couldn't find a single frame of the suspect.
Have you found any reason he would have been targeted?
No, nothing.
It doesn't make sense.
Family photos tell the story of Jesse's life. The youngest of 5 kids, a lifelong football fan, a union electrician who loved hiking and fishing.
Outdoors.
His mom describes him as friendly, but usually quiet, a deep thinker who was also sometimes silly. His greatest joy found in being a father.
This is the hard part for me. He looked forward to every moment with Levi.
Jesse's 3-year-old son was the center of his world.
The commitment and the dedication and love that I saw in him as a father was just amazing.
His family says Jesse had no enemies. Even his divorce was amicable. His killing truly is a mystery right now.
I think there's got to be more. Anything I can listen to, I want to hear.
With no motive yet for his murder, Jesse's mom is leaning on her faith.
My take from the beginning was that God knows what went down. And so when I pray that the truth would come out and the lies would be exposed, whatever that means.
Praying that the killer bragged about what he did that night in Maple Valley or crossed someone willing to turn him in. The lack of video and evidence to help solve this case is extremely unusual, which means more than ever, detectives need your help.
The most important thing to me is just to make sure I can bring some type of semblance of closure to this family so they can properly mourn Jesse.
So if you have any information or even think you heard something about this murder in Maple Valley last June, please submit an anonymous tip to Crime Stoppers of Puget Sound. You can text the information through the P3 Tips app on your cell phone or call the hotline 1-800-222-TIPS. Crime Stoppers is offering a $1,000 cash reward. Now the search is on for a thief who targeted a nonprofit store in Linwood, a place that raises money to help animals, for goodness sake. He stole a $1,200 ring, and police need your help to identify him. Surveillance video from Bella's Voice shows the suspect checking out a jewelry case. He asked the employee to look at the ring. It's a vintage Freemason 14-karat gold ring with a natural ruby. Once he got it, he walked right out the door, even pushed past a supervisor. Bella's Voice is a thrift shop that uses all of its profits to benefit animal welfare organizations. The stolen ring was donated to help them and was the most expensive item in their store.
We are pretty upset. We do have a lot of donors who donate us nice items so they can help the animals. Sales like this help fund and stock our pet food bank. So it's just pretty hard when this happens. It's upsetting.
They believe the same man has hit the store before and stole a gold locket back in November. If you have any information on his identity, please contact Linwood Police. A woman trying to do a good deed gets punched in the face multiple times. Now Fife police are hoping you can help identify that suspect. The victim was able to snap this photo of the guy after she got hit multiple times. Police say this happened the day before Thanksgiving near 54th Avenue and Pacific Highway East. The victim noticed a man harassing some people on the sidewalk, and when she stopped to see if those people needed help, this guy assaulted her. If you know his name, contact Fife Police. In Seattle, homicide detectives are asking for your help tonight to solve the murder of Adriel Webb, a promising young man. He died during the violent summer of 2020 amidst multiple shootings. But this is no cold case. It's a murder mystery. The holidays can be tough for families of victims of violent crime. That emotional struggle can be especially difficult when a crime like this one goes unsolved.
I love Christmas. It's always been one of my favorite holidays, and I did not decorate because I didn't feel the spirit of Christmas.
Shalani Barnett feels empty. The unsolved murder of her 18-year-old son 4 years ago has left her derailed.
This is my child. This was my everything. Please don't wait for it to happen to you for it to matter. It matters.
Adriel Webb had just graduated from Seattle Urban Academy. His mentors were proud he was enrolled that fall at Highline College to study engineering.
Adriel had a dream, he had a future, he had a plan.
A plan cut horribly short on Monday, July 20th at about 10:15 p.m. Adriel and two friends were on their way home from a barbecue when their car had engine trouble. They pulled over at the gas station at 23rd and East Cherry Street. The driver stayed behind the wheel. When Adriel and another teen lifted the hood to check the engine, they were ambushed.
Neither of them saw this coming, and the end result was my son losing his life.
Witnesses heard dozens of shots. Adriel was hit 11 times. His friend shot once. The driver wasn't wounded. Adriel was the only one killed. Seattle police say the surveillance camera outside the store wasn't working, so they have no description of the suspect or suspects.
I have a strong feeling that someone in the community is certainly aware of who committed this crime.
Shalani says she still hasn't talked to the two teens who were with her son that night, but also understands their reluctance. She says Adriel was not the intended target.
I know that it may take many years for them to come even to give me a hug or even, because I've often said, damn, you guys were the last people with my son. I want to know what my son said or what my son felt. Did he call out for me or his dad? I have not talked to those kids.
She says Adriel walks with her in spirit and truth every day. She thought she was preparing him for a life. In hindsight, she believes he was preparing her.
He was great. He was always there to uplift me or to encourage me. Even when I didn't know that this was what is happening. And these are the things that I miss most now.
As much as she's still struggling with what happened, Shalani believes the killer is capable of redemption, but accountability must come first.
What do we teach them at home? I knew that my kid didn't have a gun. Did those parents know that their kids didn't have a gun or that they did? I loved my son. My son lied in bed with me and watched movies. Did those kids have that?
Shalani hopes somebody will finally help Seattle police identify his killer. But this is not just about her loss.
It's very important to me to keep my son's name alive, but also to solve his murder. I don't want this to happen to any other family. Am I under the grandiose idea that it will not? Sadly, no. I know that this will repeat, but I would like us to have more preparedness for it, which sounds insane to even say. But, we have to do better as a community.
If you have any information that can help Seattle police solve Adriel Webb's murder, you will remain anonymous when you give that tip to Crime Stoppers, and they will pay you a $1,000 cash reward. For the last 9.5 years, the family of Jeff Beach has waited for justice, and now they finally have it. The 36-year-old Kent man was murdered back in 2015. His killer was finally arrested this past May. Charles Watts appeared in a Pacific County courtroom on December 13th. He was sentenced to 5 years in prison after he pleaded guilty to 1 count of manslaughter and 5 counts of witness tampering. Beach was attacked and killed in Pacific County. He was in Long Beach for a 4th of July softball tournament. The case went cold for years, but the Pacific County Sheriff's Office says 15 months of renewed investigative efforts generated new leads and ultimately led them to Charles Watts in Vancouver, Washington. At his sentencing, Jeff's parents addressed their son's killer.
I don't know what all happened on July 3rd, 2015. Over the years, I have heard many versions and rumors. Most don't make sense. I do know he did not deserve to be left on the beach to die. I understand the reasons and circumstances for only 5 years of prison, but you need to know I have already lived 9 years in my own prison of grief. In 5 years, you will be able to go home to your family, friends, and grandchildren you may have. I will still have the loss of my son.
There was a long time that went by that we didn't know if we would ever get to a point where a person would be held accountable for what happened that night. At the end of the day, we get to find some closure now, and we'll accept that as justice.
So after the hearing, Charles Watts was sent off to prison. And joining me now is our Spotlight sponsor, Bill Cahill from Beacon Plumbing. Bill, you have been so involved with Keith and Lori Beach. We're talking about going back 9 years. You offered a huge reward for tips to solve this case, even putting up billboards all over the Vancouver area where Watts was from, trying to get people to come forward to identify him. He did get identified. It wasn't from tips. In fact, the Sheriff's Department says he was tampering with witnesses, got convicted for that too. But now Keith and Lori Beach have some justice, 5 years in prison for the suspect. Is that enough time, considering how much time and money you put behind trying to get an arrest in this case?
I don't know if there's ever enough time. I don't know if I can answer that question, because the Beach family, they've served the last 10 to 11 years of their lives trying to find the murderer that killed their son. And let me tell you, not just that, the daughter of the Beach family, she died while trying to save a woman's life that was being beaten by her husband. And so it's not just a one-down thing. They've had a series of it because they care about the community.
I know they're so grateful to you for the work that you did. We're in the Chinatown International District right now. Right behind us is a new location for Beacon Plumbing. Why did you choose to invest that kind of money in this area? Crime's up 300% here. People care about the community, but there's a lot of frustration here about what's been going on.
I love the city of Seattle. Make no mistake about that. And the Chinatown area, we all know it from years back, from those of us that were born here in Seattle, that still frequent the Chinatown area. We can remember going in and enjoying meals till 12 o'clock at night. And that's not happening anymore. What's happening now is that 9 o'clock, Chinatown's shutting down. All these businesses are losing sales because we don't have enough police officers down here to take care of business.
What would you like to see happen when it comes to policing in Seattle, and particularly in this area?
I'd like to see police officers get out of the car and walk the beat. Make their presence known. Let people know that are coming here that there's safety. And let's get these businesses back up and alive. COVID was terrible, the Chinatown. I think right now that by us opening up down here, we're going to save people an awful lot of money.
Last time we talked, last year, you said, let's give Mayor Harrell the chance, the opportunity to make some changes. He just announced his plan to run for re-election again. We've got World Cup soccer that's going to come in here, bring almost 1 million people into our area. Are you optimistic about Seattle now and our future?
I'm more than optimistic. I mean, this is a mayor that walked in to his office and he walked into the Jenny Durkin crowd, and their whole theme was to defund police and everything that goes along with that. And Bruce Harrell, he's just gotten his feet wet. You go downtown Seattle now, it's safe to come to Seattle and go downtown. Chinatown still has some issues, but he needs a little bit of time for people to work through this with him. He needs a chance to get some police officers. Jenny Durkin and her crowd, they were saying defund the police. Mayor Harrell wants police down here. Matter of fact, Beacon Plumbing contributed to Little Saigon and to have police, at least an appearance of police there. But that's still not enough. David, we can't do it without boots on the ground. We need police officers walking through Chinatown. And Chinatown needs to be able to, for their businesses to survive, they need to be able to stay open enough hours during the day and night. And, you know, 7, 8 hours isn't going to get it. These are a hard-working group of people. And a lot of people like myself and probably like yourself, we want to come down here and we want to enjoy the evening in Chinatown, have some food with our family, and feel safe walking out the door.
We're going to check back with you in a year, see how this office is going, and see how things have improved. Hopefully, Mr. Cahill, thank you.
Merry Christmas and Happy New Year.
You too. Merry Christmas. Thank you so much.
God bless you.
Drone technology is taking on new roles in law enforcement. The Shoreline Police Department released this video of how officers and deputies responded when a man in crisis hid in the back of a 7-Eleven. The Spotlight's Nia Wong shows us how that drone helped bring an end to a potentially dangerous situation.
A mental health crisis ends with a man in handcuffs and no one hurt. To understand how this ends, we have to go back to the beginning.
What's happening?
Deputies responding to this 7-Eleven in Shoreline say a man harassed a worker and barricaded himself inside on October 16th.
There's one guy behind the counter screaming, "Don't kill me."
After police were able to get the worker and at least one customer out of the store,
we had a heavy response because we thought we were dealing with something a little more violent.
Omar Jackson of the King County Sheriff's Office says he was among the reinforcement that included officers from Shoreline, Kenmore, Canines, a mental health professional, and thieves.
I have no idea what this person going through this crisis is going through in their mind.
Nor do they know where this man is hiding within the store, but with the help of drones.
We don't have to put a deputy inside the store to actually confront this person.
Chief Collins says this decreases the chances of a violent encounter.
I can round a corner, round an aisle, be startled. I could round the same aisle and he could produce a weapon.
This video isn't from MPO Jackson's body cam, but from a drone.
We were lucky on that day that we had all of those resources available to us.
As the drone goes down the aisles, Jackson is outside the convenience store.
I'm using my shield and my eyes are on the front of the door because I don't know when he's going to come out.
When the man in crisis does come out, law enforcement watch in real time from a safe distance.
We almost always ask for drones if we can get them.
Chief Collins says in the year his department has had drones, they've seen a lot of success with the machines, and in this case,
The individual going through the mental health crisis, the deputies, the bystander, or the employee, and nobody got hurt. It was resolved very peacefully, and we were very happy about that.
For the Spotlight, I'm Nia Wong.
A teenager is caught on camera throwing a rock through the window of a popular donut shop in Tacoma. It left this mom-and-pop business with a $2,000 repair bill less than 2 weeks before Christmas. Spotlight's Dave Detling spoke with the owner of Helen Donuts, who has a message of forgiveness for that little vandal.
Our maple bar is the best seller.
At Helen's Donuts and Ice Cream in Tacoma, Stephen Python knows a thing or two about sweet treats.
I'm very good with all the cakes. French cruller, we're really good with that.
Here, a donut isn't just any ordinary donut. It's a confectionery concoction of culinary skill.
I'm really particular on my pound and water, how much hot water you're supposed to put in there. And put some extra donut hole on there, okay?
Stephen won't give away the whole recipe, but with 14 years of his life dedicated to donuts, he's crafted a menu that has customers coming back.
French curler chocolate old fashioned, the Boston cream.
And he's got it all.
Has everything. They're made from scratch.
Hello. But around closing time, Helen's Donuts attracted some unsavory guests, and they were all caught on camera. What one of the teens did next is something Stephen wishes he could glaze over.
The kid walked to the side and found a piece of rock, and all of a sudden he just did it, you know. I mean, sometimes you have to think.
The shattered window isn't good for business.
Just senseless vandalism. Yeah. I mean, everybody loves these guys. I can't think of a reason why somebody would do that.
Longtime customers like Mike shaking his head at the damage.
Double glazed, insulated, blah, blah, yeah. Yeah, that's going to be a few bucks.
It's $2,000 worth of damage that's been done when the unidentified teen decided to hurl a rock at this mom-and-pop donut shop. It shattered Steven's window, and he has this message for the trio.
All of us been, kids before, and we know we've done some stupid stuff before, and yeah, just be careful and and start doing good. Don't roam out at night. Parents should be the same. Look out after your kids and make sure they're home. I forgive the kids. I mean, just have somebody pay for it. That'd be great because it come out of my pocket.
For the Spotlight, I'm Dave Detling.
The owner is getting some help with that $2,000 repair bill. Loyal customers have been showing up to chip in to help cover the cost. Well, that's going to do it for us tonight on the Spotlight. Until next time, I'm David Rose. Please stay safe.